This is Meltdown Live, presented by MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag for double your initial deposit. You sign on to make a deposit, they double it with code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag.
Welcome in. We are here live in the Culver studio, and I am absolutely thrilled to be here with you. I am Tim Melton, and we are with you every day, live daily, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern, as we are the Meltdown. A lot to get to today. We have a very special guest here in the Culver studio, which we will introduce shortly. But first, I want to introduce Mr. Tyler Lionel Johns. Tyler, you are dropping the hammer today, my friend.
No, I brought the hammer today, actually. Look at this.
That's why I chose those words. But
Yeah, you set me up perfectly for this. I bought this, and I feel like I should have bought the large Stein mug because I don't know where we're gonna put this, Tim.
really,
Yeah,
you'll find
I
someplace.
mean, where are we gonna put it to display it? Like we're gonna have to like either balance it on the windowsill behind EG,
No.
or like just I don't know where else it would go.
Can you show off the popcorn functionality of this thing?
Let me try and get it open.
Because it's not great.
No, there we go. I got it. So you got your popcorn in here, and you're stabbing whoever's sitting next to you right there.
Yeah, that's not the easiest way to eat popcorn for sure. But I also don't think there's a ton of popcorn that can fit in there. But that's
No,
just my professional
see,
opinion.
they say this comes with a large popcorn too. There's no way you're putting a large in
Just
here.
aside.
You're just having to constantly refill, I guess.
I feel like that
Can I
defeats
see
the
it?
point of having a popcorn bucket. Yeah, here you go.
Oh my God. Please don't hit anything. Oh my gosh.
I mean, I kind of like this.
I feel like you're very dangerous with this. EG is on the show back here with us, and EG is going with the Clark Kent look today.
I am, because we're talking about Superman.
Like, would we know that EG was a superhero if she just wore the glasses when she was not a superhero, but then took the glasses off when she was a superhero?
Does look like Catwoman.
You think so? You're going with Selena
Yeah.
Kyle? A little bit from like a Michelle Pfeiffer,
Michelle
Selena
Pfeiffer,
Kyle?
Selena Kyle.
Yeah, I see that.
Okay.
She was a abused secretary before turning into Catwoman after being
Yikes.
thrown out of the top floor of a building, and
Yep.
then the cats basically
Ate her?
a little bit. Yeah, they nibbled
Yeah.
and revived her, and she went home and she then jammed all of her stuffed animals down into the garbage
Christopher
disposal.
Walken had it coming.
So
Wow. She needed this.
she did need that. We have Brian Pavlick here in studio with us.
Hey.
Brian, it's a good time, and I'm so happy to have you here.
Yes. Hey. And happy Thanksgiving to you guys, man. It's great to be back.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank-
Yeah, that's a little bit of a. I
Well,
don't want people to think that they're a
well,
month behind here.
Let's all right, hold on.
Yeah.
In my growing evaluation of how late is it to say Thanksgiving messages, note to
Oh.
self,
Dropping the hammer.
December 17th is too late to wish somebody happy Thanksgiving. Now, note to self, it still might be okay for Thanksgiving the next year. More research to be concluded.
I want to make clear this is not a planned bit, because had it been, it would have been scrapped. It would have been cut for time. But Brian, I do have a sincere question for you here.
Yes.
They've announced you being a Disney fanatic and being
Yes.
a Muppet fanatic. They have
Yes.
announced that the Muppets are now going to be a part of the redesign for Rock and Roller Coaster.
Yes, how fun.
However, Muppet Vision 3D
Yes,
is going to become a thing of the past.
this is true.
Is this the right move?
This is, and here's why. I'm also a Country Bear Jamboree fan.
You are?
And as long as they are investing into the next generation, I'm good. Now, if it was a complete Muppet cut, we got problems. However, think about the crowds that are still going to be going to Rock and Roller Coaster because it's just a big roller coaster at Hollywood Studios. For it to be Muppets, it introduces a whole new generation to the Muppets. It'll probably have some type of Electric Mayhem, our favorite band in the world. It'll have some ties to that. So I'm very excited about this. I get the whole it's Jim Henson's last production in Muppets 3D and all that, and I'll be seeing it one final time over the next couple of days. I get that. But this was the easiest layover or kind of transition that they could have had was Rock and Roller Coaster with Muppets. Well done.
I
Easy.
completely agree with you. Will you get sentimental watching the
I will laugh louder
production?
to show my appreciation. I will do more As we remember from a few months ago.
That is correct.
There will be more of that, and I may even throw a at the things. And I will definitely pay attention more to the chef running the projector with the flame is okie dokie, and I will give a standing
love it.
ovation. I mean, that's a guarantee.
I love it very much, and I feel like somehow you should sneak Tyler in, and y'all should experience it
I
together.
think we should.
What's happening to Pizza Rizzo now?
So it'll go away, I believe, too.
Oh.
But I will have one more pizza, and it had a great Caesar salad, by the way. So I'm looking forward to my kind of the old school Pizza Hut deep dish pizza. That's basically what it is, and a good Caesar salad. So Pizza Rizzo.
All right. We'll hopefully document all of these things
We
and throw
could,
them up
we could,
on social
yes,
media. That
yes,
would be great.
yes,
Can you somehow do a favor for Tyler and I, and that
yes.
is convince EG that she needs to watch Terrifier 3,
No.
that it is a movie that she should experience at least once in her life.
Like, let's see. I like EG. We're friends.
We are.
And when we've grown in our relationship this year. In fact, EG still, we're coming to the end of the year. I have to say real quick, my favorite bit of all the things that EG has done all year, and she knows this, was her Nick Saban statue documentary
Huh.
when she was out there on the streets and all that. So
Streets.
that's the moment I was like, this girl's for real. And
Yeah.
I always wanted to be a friend of hers, and we have a great
Thank you.
relationship. I can't do that to her.
Thank you, Brian
I
Pavlick.
just I'll pick on her like she's my kid sister to the day I die.
Yeah.
Two more years though before Terrifier 4. I think you have to, because you won't know what's going on.
And I'm okay with that. I can live with that.
We are going to be having a Terrifier 3 spoiler
Yes.
filled review. Terrifier 3 came out in a time of transition here for the Meltdown studio and for our production unit, and we never really got a chance to do a full spoiler review of Terrifier
That's
3.
correct.
We did a sort of business profile, Tyler, of Terrifier 3 versus Joker Folia Do in a Battle of the Clowns, and Terrifier 3 came out as our undisputed winner of that. I'm looking forward to getting into this spoiler review with Brian Pavlick. It'll be up on the channel later today.
I am too. Like you said, we only got to talk the business side of it, and I enjoyed that because I am a businessman. But I would much rather talk about the actual movie sometimes. But we should get into the box office side of who wins more.
Absolutely.
I would like more videos.
It was a
like
fun
that.
bit. It was.
Absolutely. Okay, let's get into a movie that has a lot of hype surrounding it. If you've seen the thumbnail or the title of this video, you know we're going to be getting back into James Gunn's Superman. It is a big week for Superman. Tyler, it's coming off the heels of what is one of the lowest points in the history of superhero cinema with Craven the Hunter, which was
Boo.
projected between 13 to 15 million, coming in at the 11 million mark after this weekend. It's got like a 15% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's been panned by nearly everybody. And we do need one of the Mount Rushmore superheroes to come in and deliver a solid outing for not only DC, not only the Superman character, but the superhero genre altogether. There's a lot riding on the shoulders of this, and I'm really hoping that come Thursday, we have a lot more to be excited about because that is when the official teaser trailer drops. Our first chance to see actual footage from the film and see what direction they're going with promoting this movie. How excited are you personally that this trailer and the hype behind it is bringing so much excitement to so many different people?
Well, if you look at the screen, you can see the countdown for it. I can't wait. I had told Tim, how early can you get here Thursday morning? We are filming. And he said, well, I'll be here. Let's do it. So be on the lookout for that when it comes Thursday morning. And I couldn't find any excitement for this movie before the poster. But now that I've seen the poster, I just really want to see it. And I can't wait for it. We touched on this a little bit yesterday. EG, you mentioned that it looks like it will be more simplistic,
Yeah.
like a Top Gun Maverick, and I think that just speaks to a larger issue where a lot of these classic stories, the superhero mythos and everything, it it constantly gets subverted. We're either making them an anti-hero, we're exploring why a villain is actually not a villain. And once you do that so many times, people crave just a classic good versus evil, no subversion. Because after you do it so many times, it's not subversive anymore. It's actually just expected to make some twists to the character that weren't previously there. And now people are craving a classic story because that is what's actually subversive. Because
That is correct. Bring us back to the roots of the character, and my hope is that's where we're headed. We brought up, once again, Top Gun Maverick
Yeah.
yesterday here, talking about that's sort of the formula that they need to follow. James Gunn today, a story came out from The Wrap where he spoke with them about his Superman and said for the action sequences, particularly the aerial scenes, Gunn and his team are taking inspiration from Top Gun Maverick. That came out today. They're using drones to capture Superman's flight scenes, saying, quote, "We shoot a lot of our action with actual drones flying in and around Superman and the people that he's flying with, engineer, whoever else that he's fighting up in the air. We got these really small, crazy drones now. They've got some of the best flyers in the world who are working with it." Maybe this explains all the drones there in the Northeast. And maybe
beat me
You
to it,
just
sir.
cracked
just
it.
trying
That's
to
what it
capture
is.
Superman footage.
Yeah.
Well, that wouldn't really work out considering they wrapped filming many months ago. So
And it was filming in Cleveland.
that is
Oh,
correct.
well.
So also a little bit of an issue there, but I like to, try to take what are maybe real concerns with these drones that everybody's having and try to say, well, maybe it's just a Superman thing. But this is going to be an epic experience seeing this first teaser trailer on Thursday. There's a lot of hype surrounding it, and this is just for the teaser trailer. I think that there's going to be a real divide in the fandom once this thing comes out because there are still a lot of people holding on to the Zack Snyder version of Superman, sort of that darker,
Mhm.
more emotionally distressed tone. Even the posters, when you put them together, they're so vastly different. One with very much a darker version of Superman, and one that just the two words that you keep pointing out, that "look up," how powerful that tagline is there on the poster is incredible. Pavlick, in all of your years of fandom of media,
Yes.
was Superman ever something that you gravitated towards as a fan of cinema or comic books or anything in that?
Good use of the word gravitated when we're talking Superman.
Yeah.
I Superman was cool. And I say was, and I believe if I'm reading the chat as we go, Snuff brought it up. Superman doesn't resonate anymore. There's something to that because I think think back 50s, 60s, 70s, a flying man, man of steel type thing, stronger than a locomotive. That was something that visually you had to see before TV, books, even maybe some old school radio. Those types of stories I can imagine just going into that world. And then it was so awesome, Christopher Reeve bringing him to life. And he will always be Superman in so many people's eyes, regardless of how many remakes there are. Smallville, all the TV shows, all these things. Christopher Reeve is Superman in my eyes.
Perfect casting.
But how relevant is a flying man these days? Because we've had flying superheroes and we've even had people who use objects to fly. I think Harry Potter is a better flying character than Superman. And I think it's just kind of that lost. What made Superman special was the flying part of it. I think it's kind of lost in today's generation.
I get what you're saying. In the 70s, when people showed up to go watch Richard Donner's Superman, it was oh my gosh, I
That's
can't
awesome.
believe they accomplished this.
Right.
Because the tagline was, "You'll believe a man can fly."
That's right.
And now it's like, oh, we've seen that a bajillion times. And that does take away one of the tricks of Superman, which is like people expect grade A visuals,
Mhm.
they expect grade A action. Question is, can you give them a story and characters that they genuinely care about? That's where the hook of this James Gunn version of Superman is either going to soar or it's going to fall flat on its face.
The biggest thing is how close do they keep it to Superman the Ride at Six Flags Over Georgia? If they keep it close to that,
Yeah.
we've got a winner.
Most
E-
definitely.
E.g., you don't watch a ton of movie trailers. However,
No.
I know for a fact you'll be watching this thing on Thursday when it drops.
Yeah, I will be. And I was talking to my brother about it, and he has a unique perspective because of the comic book angle for him. So he is a big collector of comic books, always has been. And so, my earliest childhood memories are watching like Super Friends and the Justice League cartoons, definitely more DC than Marvel. I had like a little Wonder Woman action figure. I thought it was so cool. But with that being said, we were discussing it last night and you mentioned him about the moody Superman compared to this version. And we were going back and forth, and he agreed with you, Pavlik. He said Superman to me is a boring character because if you buy into Superman, you ultimately have to ignore what it actually means to be Superman. So, because he's perfect, because he's going to outlive Earth, he can never really save everyone either. And like he has to deal with the trauma, if you will, that Batman deals with, but it's never really addressed. So he actually liked the Zack Snyder version of Superman, because to him, he's a Batman guy, and it made him more interested in a more complex version of Superman than what he'd been given, his whole childhood.
Well, and let's make no mistake that the Zack Snyder version of Superman was a reflection of how poorly Superman Returns
Yep.
in 2005 performed, where they tried to recapture that Christopher Reeve magic by having Brandon Routh play the part because he somewhat looked like Christopher
Mhm.
Reeve. You have Kevin Spacey in the role of Lex Luthor, and you had a little bit of a family drama dynamic, with the son of Superman being in the mix here. And I, I feel really conflicted about Superman Returns because I was very hyped for that movie. We had gotten, Batman Begins, and I think it was 2006 actually, Superman Returns, because in 2005 we got Batman Begins. It ended up becoming my favorite superhero movie of all time. And then we get Superman Returns, and it just did not feel as weighty as Batman Begins. Even when you watch them back today, Superman Returns, even though it came out a year later, does not feel at all like it holds up as well as something like Batman Begins does, with that sort of deep, dark, complex character study
Mhm.
that Batman Begins provides. And Superman Returns is going all for doses of nostalgia. People that went and saw that 70s Superman movie in the theater, trying to tap into that audience. James Gunn has a really difficult balance right here of trying to respect what came previously
Yes.
while also establishing something new. You talked about that a little bit in your talk about the Muppets taking over the Rock and Roller Coaster, about having it being presented to a new generation. I have Christopher Reeve fans, and I am one of them, on my social media saying they got to quit remaking this stuff. It's already perfect with Christopher Reeve. Why are they even trying? And my take on that is, much like the comics industry itself, these characters have to be reinvented for future generations
right.
or else they die.
They're forgotten.
Yeah.
That's right. I mean, and we'll know this next Halloween if kids are dressed up like Superman, how much of an impact this made. What's the rating on it, by the way? What is this
We
movie
we
rated?
don't have a reading yet, but I promise you it's going to be PG-13.
Yeah, more than likely. But if there's if your local toy department influx of Superman characters again, or Halloween costumes, you see kids dressing up as Superman, I think that's on the right path of saying Superman is back, it's
Yep.
popular, it's cool again. And it's not the worst thing in the world to wear your underwear on the outside.
This was not planned, but I'm glad you brought it up because that was my next point. One of the most debated aspects of the production, and this is featured in the Wrap interview that came out with James Gunn earlier today, was Superman's DCU costume, specifically whether to include the classic Trunks look.
Mhm.
Gunn, who is overseeing this and overseeing DC altogether, says he was on the no Trunks team for a long time. But he changed his mind after a conversation with star David Cornsweet.
Corn sweat.
Ah,
So wait, what was the argument, I wonder?
This is what James Gunn said. Quote,
chafing.
It's a good reason.
I'm not wearing it.
David said something to me that really affected me. Superman wants kids to not be afraid of him. He's an alien. He's this incredibly powerful, could be considered scary individual, and he wants people to like him. He wants to be a symbol of hope and positivity, so he dresses like a professional wrestler.
Hmm.
He dresses in a way that makes people unafraid of him. That shows that. Now,
Whoa.
I'm not going to say that James Gunn just called Brian Pavlick a hypocrite, but Brian Pavlick,
New world order.
you are a huge wrestling fan.
Absolutely.
So the whole, undies debate
Yes.
is something that comes up in professional wrestling fandom all the time too.
Absolutely.
So what do you make of that take that said James Gunn said that's what turned him into a fan of let's have the trunks on the outside in that
No.
traditional way?
Why not? I mean, again, if we're sticking with the original source material, Superman has his trunks on the outside, and that's completely fine and acceptable. Be who you are, Superman. We want you to be and live your world.
You do you.
Yeah, you do you, boo. Now, in the comparison to professional wrestling, I do think there's a lot of tie over of, and again, men in Madison Square Garden in the 50s and on the black and white TVs wrestling and
Yeah.
their underwear. That's fine. That. I guess it was acceptable, and we'll go from there. But they weren't also like underwear; they were more breeches. But that's okay. Go, Speedo men. People.
Okay. Some hard hitting commentary there.
I mean,
Thank you.
really,
I really thought about that one.
Speedo men people.
Speedo men wrestling.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No.
It's off topic, more on the topic of Speedos, but you can always tell a European when they're vacaying in the United States because they always wear the Speedo.
Absolutely.
Or skinny jeans with a polo.
Oh, I got to cut that out of my wardrobe now.
I did invest in a new pair of skinny jeans at
You
Old
did?
Navy this year. Yeah. And I'm anything but skinny.
Just don't wear it with a polo, or else you will make ET's list of 5 fashion faux pas.
Can we do that?
We can, but not today.
Yeah, not today. Not today.
What are you chewing on right now? What is that?
Oh,
Can I share this on air?
You can share this on
Okay.
air.
gosh. Yes. Fun.
So-
what did we call her? Font?
Font. I know.
Good Lord.
ET is such a funt.
Can I be the Fuzzin?
Ah,
Fuzzin Brian?
yeah.
Sure.
Cool.
So I'm a part of a poker club, as you know, with Tim. And one of our poker club members, Saber,
Yeah.
he so kindly, it made my whole week. I mean, honestly, my whole year. It was very thoughtful. So I actually have it right here. He gave Tim to give me 2 bags of my favorite candy, the Haribo Gold Bears Sour.
Look at him. Good man, Saber. Saber. Sorry.
I love to read and I love poker. This is my holiday reading material. So thoughtful and kind. Thank you, Saber. Again.
We don't need to make EG more of a poker killer than she already is, because I'm telling you, if she can just get good at chip management,
Whoa.
I mean, we've agreed, like chip management is very important
It
here.
is.
I saw one of them's called the Queen's Guide to Poker. Are
Pretty
you
cool.
you trying to take out the king?
Oh.
Uh-oh.
The
Yeah.
king will be back.
I'm
for
so
sure.
I mean, it's just so thoughtful. Like that, I just very appreciative.
Well, I'm happy that you're going to have a lot of reading material there. I want to remind everybody once again that Superman is a movie that opens up in July of 2025, July 11th of 2025. We're getting our first teaser trailer on Thursday. We will have a reaction for you early Thursday. So if you're on the East Coast, it'll be dropping at 9 o'clock. If you are over on the West Coast, it'll be dropping at 6 a.m. I know a lot of people who are going to be getting up early to make sure that they're refreshing and ready to go. And I am really excited about one thing specifically James Gunn said, and I want to go to Tyler on this. This is what I thought was the biggest misstep of the Zack Snyderverse era that we got of DC. And that is they constantly promise things down the line without ever having a payoff.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, they would promise things 3, 4 movies ahead without having a script, anyone attached.
Yeah.
And it would just completely blow up because one movie wouldn't do as well, and then they'd have to retool everything and
Yeah.
then push back movies that they had scheduled out 5 years in advance. And James Gunn's been very adamant that nothing gets greenlit without a script. Period. End of story. No finalizations, no rewrites. If it's not good to go, we don't start shooting.
I'm very excited about this angle. EG, you have something to
Yes.
add.
Well, I'm curious what y'all's thoughts are on the after Superman. Will James Gunn continue to expand the DC universe?
Yes.
And we talked yesterday about how Batman, you guys don't necessarily want Robert Pattinson to join him in that universe.
Correct.
So, 2 questions. Will Wonder Woman get a James Gunn version? And who will Batman be? Or who'd you want to see?
Great
Woman
questions.
Still has sour taste in a lot of people's mouths, man.
Really great questions there.
It's like she's the best at interviewing, man.
All
you.
all of the DC characters are on the table, I think, for James Gunn to have his envisioning of bringing them together.
Yeah.
There has been talks about whether or not Robert Pattinson's Batman will be included in that mix because he's already a character that exists, that's established.
It's been talked about by everybody except the people in charge.
Correct. It should not happen. The Penguin HBO series tells us it should not happen, that they
Mhm.
should try to keep that as Gotham focused. I'm telling you right now, I've said this for years and no one wants to really validate this, but I'm telling you, people don't want alien lore and Batman mixed together.
Agreed.
Okay. And general audiences don't want alien lore, which is a lot of what the DC universe is. And, Superman's an alien. And Batman, Gotham City, corruption, crime,
Yep.
grounded in the streets, right? They want bare knuckle boxing in that. They do not want the spectacle of space travel with Batman. That's just general audiences don't. Now, there are comic book fans that eat up Batman teaming up with the Justice League and being a part of this fantastical universe. There are people who absolutely Batman v Superman was like the moment of their childhood. The fact that they got both of those characters on screen, but the execution was not there to
Mhm.
where that movie has not stood the test of time of being something that people continuously go back to. And I know there are diehard fans of making Batman more fantastical in the sense not of Batman and Robin, but in the sense of sci-fi sort of Batman. And the Matt Reeves take is we're going to make him, a noir detective type
Yes.
Batman.
Yeah.
And it's working.
Yes.
Don't mess it up.
And it's exactly what Batman fans have been craving for years. People have been saying, let's get away from all the gadgets. Let's go back to world's greatest detective, which is
Yeah.
exactly what this universe is. And that's why James Gunn has been so adamant that there will be the DC universe that will have a Batman.
Correct.
Right now, Andy Muschietti is attached as director for The Brave and the Bold.
Who directed
Not
The
not
Flash.
not happy about that. He directed
No.
The Flash, exactly. But there's the Elseworlds label, which will be everything outside of the DCU. It has no continuity with anything else. That would be the Batman, the Penguin, and Joker.
Well, and I think Joker is done.
Yeah,
But
that one's dead in the water.
definitely there will be a Batman.
Yeah.
Who do I personally want to see as Batman? I'd love Glenn Powell as Batman.
Really?
Yeah,
I cannot see that.
I can totally see it.
Okay. I love it. But I mean, I don't love it, but I love the take.
I'm glad that there's always someone in the studio that hates Glenn Powell, but I like Glenn Powell, and I think he'd be a fantastic Bruce Wayne in the James Gunn version because I think that it's going to be a little bit of a lighter, a little bit more of a comic Batman
Yeah.
in the James Gunn universe, right? I'm not talking about like full on camp like an Adam West or
Mhm.
full on comedy like a Will Arnett with Lego Batman. But I do think you need someone who has some comedic chops to play in James Gunn's
Interesting.
universe as Batman. And I think if you've seen Hitman, or if you've seen
The
other,
Tornado Part 2.
even the Tornado Part 2 and Twisters, but if you see him paired up with Sydney Sweeney, Glenn Powell has the chops to pull that off. He has the comedic timing.
Batman, as long as it stays true to the original source material of Batman the Ride at Six Flags Over
Okay.
Georgia, it's going to be okay.
James Gunn, real quick, Tyler, his answer was 0 when he was asked how much of the movie, the Superman movie, is dedicated to setting up other characters or future DC projects.
Ooh, I kind of like that.
He
Love
said
it.
0.
Nice.
Then he said, I mean, maybe 2 little things, 2 moments, but basically, if something's there just to set up something else, F it. He's like, no, we're not doing that game of promising things down the road. We're going to deliver you a standalone Superman movie that
Yeah, it's just-
maybe brings you into a world that's already established compared to promising what the world is going to become.
Do you guys think that because Batman was arguably done so well, you're Batman all the way?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
Christian Bale your Batman?
Michael Keaton is my
Michael Keaton.
personal
Oh, yeah.
Batman.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So, do you guys think that because Batman was done and executed incredibly well, that is also a reason that Superman didn't necessarily resonate with the
Well,
later generations?
Let me say this. Batman's been done well multiple times,
Okay.
over and over and over again.
Absolutely
Like,
correct.
there's
Christian Bale was great.
people are not going to like this. I don't think there's ever been a bad Batman. I don't think there's ever been a bad Batman
I'll
casting.
agree
Hard
with you.
disagree.
I'll agree.
Sorry.
No,
Hard
I'll agree
disagree.
with Tim. I
Ju-
think they were all pretty good.
George Clooney gets a lot of hate because Batman and Robin is a dumpster fire. George Clooney
he
is
was really
not
good.
a bad
He
Batman.
was really good. Val Kilmer was good.
Val Kilmer was
he
great.
does better as an old Bruce Wayne. Same with Val Kilmer and same with Ben Affleck. I don't see any of those as Batman.
I don't know Val
Say
Kilmer.
that about you. Don't think Ben Affleck's a good Batman?
Correct.
Oh, I think he's a. I think him and Henry Cavill are wonderful in their roles, but they're stuck in a universe that doesn't explore their capabilities of what they could bring to those roles.
Yeah, I'm with you. Tim.
But I don't think there's ever been a bad Batman casting, ever. And I honestly, has there ever been a bad Superman casting? I mean, Brandon Routh was a stand-in, but he was being asked to basically be Christopher Reeve on screen. That's not his fault. I don't think there's ever been a bad Superman or Batman casting now that I think about it. That's just my personal take. It's a hot take.
We'll have to disagree with
Okay.
that. I'd like to check in with the chat. We got a new viewer here, Brogu, excuse me. He really likes the Batman. It's a story of a young man learning how to become a superhero / detective.
Mhm.
I agree. That's why it works. And he also says, can you guys stop putting Glenn Powell in everything?
Oh, we can't right now. He's on such a hot
He's
streak.
on
On a
a
heater.
heater.
Keeps hitting.
I would like someone else as the Brave and the Bold Batman. Just don't know who, because you would have to go a little bit older, because they are trying to create the Bat family, so it has to be a Batman that's already well into his career. And then let's see, we got Highball who says Glenn Powell should have been Hal Jordan. I think that's good casting. I would like Glenn Powell as Green Lantern.
It is. I do feel like everyone, that's the thing that they say. And I don't mean that to be offensive, but it's always like, oh, this person would be good. Hal Jordan, Hal Jordan, Hal Jordan, Hal Jordan. Eventually, got to pick a Bruce Wayne Batman that people can get behind. Glenn Powell's that man.
I'd
Glenn
love to
Powell's
see
the
it.
guy.
I'd love to see it.
I'm not-
Okay, who's gonna be Wonder Woman?
EG, you're going to be Wonder Woman.
I
Congratulations.
love that. I don't even play.
Cynthia
Yeah.
Erivo.
No, I think they got Supergirl right too. Millie Alcock
Yes,
from
Millie Alcock from
House of the Dragon?
I thought that was great casting.
He's going to be a wonderful Supergirl.
What about for Wonder Woman, like a Anna De Armas? She's going to be in
Okay,
Ballerina
okay. Well,
next year.
let's
She's
see.
going to be doing
Okay.
some action.
I thought
Let's see.
Gal Gadot was perfect for Wonder Woman.
I agree. I thought that character's
Yes.
design was strong
Like
too.
I had the box set of Wonder Woman, the 70s version.
Right.
What was her name? Who the actress? I can see her face.
Linda Carter.
Linda Carter.
you.
Yeah.
So to me, Linda Carter is Wonder Woman, and I thought
Back
that
on
Gal
trivia
Gadot
days, Tyler.
honored that role really well.
Absolutely, 100%. She was as synonymous with that role as Christopher Reeve was
Yeah.
with Superman. Like,
Yes.
there was only one Wonder Woman
Yeah.
for a long, long time. And Gal Gadot did a great job physically.
Physically, yes.
But I just think I think she's a horrible actress. I think
Oh,
Gal Gadot's a horrible
really?
actress.
Oh wow.
I really liked the first Wonder Woman. I mean, Wonder Woman 1984 is a mess.
Bad.
Yeah.
It is a
Bad.
mess. But I really like the first one.
Shame.
Well,
I
you,
really
you have Snow White to look forward to, and you can make your decision
Look
on
out.
whether or not she's a good actress with that. But
Oh wait, that's who.
Oh yeah, that's right. She's Maleficent.
Real
Oh,
quick
yeah.
though, because we're on actors who have done things. Best Harvey Dent.
Aaron Eckert.
it's.
Billy D. Williams.
I mean,
You know it. You know it
I'm
was
fine
Billy
with
D.
that take.
You knew it was Billy D.
I'm fine with that take.
Right.
I feel Billy D's male essence here in the room with us. But we have a
Yes.
lot to look forward to. I cannot tell you the hype surrounding this trailer that drops on
I'm so
Thursday.
excited.
So many people are excited. A lot of you joining us for the first time now. We'd love if you subscribe, be a part of the hype, the build-up, and be a part of that reaction on Thursday. Tomorrow, I am going to do a meltdown countdown myself
Sure.
of the 5 things that I need to see in the James Gunn Superman teaser trailer in order for it to be
Okay.
successful.
So what that means that everyone needs to be tuning in tomorrow to catch that list.
Yes, that is exactly correct. 2:00 Central, 3:00 Eastern. We'll be here live with you, and I will have my meltdown countdown of the 5 things I need to see from that teaser trailer. Another chat check-in with Tyler. What you got for us?
It has been busy in the chat. Thank you to everybody who's participating in the discussion. We'd love to see it. Smuff does not care for Michael Keaton as Batman.
Oh,
I knew that was gonna hurt you, but I mean, I like him fine, but not my favorite. Let's see. Uh, Nick says the Clooney was an okay Batman, but the movie was terrible. I think that's a fine take.
No.
Um,
Yeah, if somebody else says it, I say it, and it's like, oh man, bring him
I
to the
Off with his
gulag.
head.
I mean, I don't like him, but the movie is objectively worse than Clooney's performance.
Batman and Robin was the first movie as a child. I was 7. The first movie where I went, I didn't. This movie's not good. Like I was like, I didn't know they made bad movies. I would watch anything. I was watching a television series called Timmy the Tooth.
Timmy the Tooth.
Timmy the Tooth. I had all the posters. My mom worked at a video rental store, and I had all these posters. You want Jurassic Park? No, I don't want that.
That's pretty cool.
You want, Rocket Man? No, I don't want that. You want Timmy the Tooth? Give me that Timmy the Tooth poster. And
I smell a transition coming
Well,
to an advertising.
it wasn't meant to be that way, but let's go ahead and reach out to the dental team there
Yes.
on Grants Mill Road. They handled Timmy's tooth really well. Dr. Jeff, Dr. Brian, Dr. Nolan over at Alabama Dental Associates. The thing was a giant tooth, and it had its own television show,
Oh, absolutely.
and it was a tooth that smiled, which is kind of,
Scary.
It wasn't a part
ironic.
of the We Sing franchise, was it?
It was not. But I want to remind you over at Alabama Dental Associates, they provide all sorts of services when it comes to staying on top of your dental health. Maybe I'll sign those Timmy the Tooth posters and donate them
still
to
have
Alabama
them?
Dental. I'm sure I do in the garage somewhere. Whether you have a nagging toothache or you need to get on top of those regular cleanings, they're there for you and they're accepting new patients now. It can help you feel at ease about all of your upcoming dental procedures. For more information or to make an appointment, call them 205 956 8977 or visit alabamadental.com where they look forward to seeing you. Anything else for us, Tyler?
Jeff agrees with me, says Gal Gadot was a great Wonder Woman, but Wonder Woman 1984 ruined everything. I agree with that. Highball says Gal Gadot's only good when the director knows how to direct her.
Mm.
Patrick Childs is we got a bunch of new people watching today. Love to see you in Meltdonia. He says a good Justice League movie can absolutely compete with the best Avengers MCU films. I agree.
I agree.
Agree.
I agree.
I
You've
wish it would
gotta-
happen.
You've got to get Superman right first, though.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Baby steps.
Oh, let's not forget before Iron Man hit the scene, right? DC, minus the X-Men and Spider-Man, DC really dominated in superhero lore and cinema. I mean, like, the heavy hitters were all on Team DC for the most part, minus Spider-Man and X-Men. And Iron Man was looked at as this huge risk, and it paid off
Yeah.
big, and they started assembling with all of these sort of B-level characters. People don't see these as B-level characters
Yeah.
now, but cinematically they were, and they built to a crescendo of spectacle that we've never seen in cinema history, where you have a franchise that averaged over $1 billion a film that led to team up after team up to where people kept coming back to where they would sit through 3.5 hour long films and it was treated like as an event that would crash websites to
Yeah.
get tickets. And can we get back to that?
I think Brogu thinks we do. Going back to the chat, he says, "Call me crazy, but I think this Superman movie will be successful. People are so curious about it that everyone will go see it, and it'll hit $1 billion."
At least I was going to say at least 800 million.
$1 billion is going to be difficult. And I'll tell you why.
PG-13.
Well,
I actually think that's what has going for it.
a lot of people are being very gatekeeperish on this Superman thing, right? This ain't my Superman. I'm not going to see this. I do think it will be financially successful.
Sure.
But $1 billion would be, I mean, I can't tell you how big of a home run that would be.
Yeah.
For this film that nobody knows anything about.
Yeah.
Once again, we're all awaiting the teaser trailer, but like people really don't know anything about it. It's going to be a tremendous marketing campaign if it gets over the $1 billion mark in July.
So people were very skeptical about a similar movie called The Batman. Skeptical on the star, how it would look, how it would perform. It did very, very well, and we champion it pretty much every day. So I'm cautious, and I don't want to speak too harshly or too quickly because things can change. Because I remember seeing reports very close to the actual release of the Batman where DC execs were freaking out, talking about we need to reshoot it. We need to reshoot it. Pattinson doesn't look good in the bat suit because he won't bulk up. And then that just ended up not even really being an issue. And honestly, a plus for the movie considering it's year one Batman and he actually looks like a person.
Yeah, and once again, critically, love the Batman. It did do well for what it was. It wasn't a $1 billion movie though.
No, it wasn't,
It
but
came in less than 800. At 765.
yep.
It
And
did-
it as an R-rated movie that was believe had same day release or delayed release on Max because we were coming out of COVID.
The Batman's not R-rated. I'm gonna reiterate that
Oh
again.
yeah, that's right. You keep
I
correcting
keep
me
correcting you
on
on that.
I
Batman was
they basically made 7, so I just assume it's
No.
R-rated every time I think about it.
not R-rated, PG-13 Batman, a very intense PG-13, but not R-rated. I think the closest thing we've gotten to R-rated Batman is the unrated version of Batman v Superman, which I think is the closest version we've gotten to that specifically. But yeah, I'm very interested to see what happens with DC, and I'm very interested to see what happens with this Superman movie that promises to sky high expectations. No pun intended. Okay, so pun was intended. I'm going to be completely real.
Yeah.
Always is with you.
It was intended, and
It was necessary. It was
it was.
good.
I agree. Okay, 'tis the season, Brian Pavlick.
I'm excited.
You have
I've been excited. I've been excited for 2 months. Y'all know my house is in November, December, Christmas time. We
Really?
put up those decorations November 1st.
I hate that.
When
I
did-
like that.
when do they come down?
So that's also the issue. There has been traditionally the December 26th, 27th, let's go ahead and get this out of the way feeling. Growing up Catholic, January 6th was always the big day. They call it the Epiphany. So that's usually a takedown day. I've even done it Christmas Eve before. That's a whole other story just because we were done with Christmas.
I guess y'all were traveling.
Yeah, we were
and-
traveling and we had nothing else to do. And it was
Wow.
a smaller tree. One
Huh.
tree. It was like, yeah, let's just take them down. But it will probably come down 26, 27, 28, somewhere around there.
Yeah. My mom, she puts up right after the weekend before Thanksgiving, and then she leaves it up. Like the trees, at least, like she'll get rid of like the kitchen stuff, like more of not the clutter, but like the little things. She'll leave those trees up until February.
Yeah.
Because she hates the cold, she hates the winter. She's like, well, it makes me happy.
Helps you cope, and it
Help-
just
yeah.
makes everything a little bit warmer,
more
even though
pretty.
if
Does.
physically you're not warmer, emotionally
Yeah.
you are.
Does.
So I have tasked you with something where you really had to refine your meltdown countdown and give us your take on your 5 favorite Christmas movies.
This was tough.
How difficult of a task was this for you because you do love the season so much?
It is, and I am a Christmas guy, and I've seen movies upon movies upon movies. Now, excluded in my list are any Hallmark movies.
Okay.
We're not going to count those. I could have went this so many ways. I could have said these are the 5 best, or I could have said these were my favorite. How I rank these 5, and hopefully there's a lot of honorable mentions, and you guys in the chat and you guys in the room can throw out some and we can comment on them. How I rank these are, if I'm scrolling old school, I'm scrolling through the channels and this movie is on, I'm stopping, I'm putting up everything and I'm watching this. Now, some of it has to do with length of time, some of it has to do with nostalgia, some of it has to do with I can quote the whole thing.
Okay.
So that's where this random Pavlick list comes
So
from.
rewatchability is very important
That's
in this
right.
list.
That's right. I will say ones that are not going to make it because we
Sure.
do have to do this real quick. The Nightmare Before Christmas, I still think is a great Christmas movie. It's just not going to be on there.
I prefer it as a Halloween movie, but that's just my personal.
Okay.
taste.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, great movie, very nostalgic. Not going to be on there, but it needs to be mentioned. It's a Wonderful Life will not be on my top 5, even though that is my take down the Christmas decoration tradition. I watch It's a Wonderful Life as that's going on. Also on this list of non-top 5, but I think it's one of the only about a dozen movies ever made that I consider perfect movies. A Miracle on 34th Street. I think that is an absolutely perfect movie for so many different reasons. Again, I would watch it, but it's a little bit longer and sometimes it's a little slower in parts.
We have people in the chat asking about your shirt. Can you show it off just a little bit for us? Like, I don't know. Yeah, that's perfect,
La,
actually.
la, la.
So, for those that don't know, this is a shirt that's paying homage to one of my favorite
The
movies of all
Goblin King.
time,
Labyrinth.
Labyrinth, a Labyrinth
This is a movie.
Christmas shirt.
This is a movie that we are going to watch at Christmas.
Really?
Oh, Hoggle and Ludo and
Yeah.
Sarah and Sir Didymus.
Have you seen Hoggle in Scottsboro, Alabama? He's up there at the
In the
unclaimed baggage store.
baggage, and he's looking rough.
I thought it was looking pretty good.
Well,
Hoggle was already rough. Okay,
he was. So.
let's get into number 5 on your favorite Christmas movies list.
All right, so number 5, whereas I said Rudolph was not going to make it, Frosty the Snowman did.
Okay.
And again, it's the nostalgia. It's Jimmy Durante, Frosty the Snowman. There's something about there. There's the magician who has the hat and he wants to take it back, and he's got that classic, I get to get busy, busy, busy. And, the little girl, she's sad because Frosty melts, and there's the scene in the greenhouse. Frosty the Snowman. And it's very touching. Happy birthday. All great moments, all going back to my youth. I will always watch Frosty the Snowman.
Okay.
I am so thrilled you took the microphone off of the stand because it would have
Yeah, you got to
it
get
wouldn't have
animated.
encapsulated
No.
the full
No,
range of your talents.
Absolutely.
Let's move on to number 4.
1990, I remember the Carmike 8 in Montgomery, Alabama. And it was the first movie that I ever went to where there was literally a line out of the box office. And they said, we don't have 4 seats together for you, your parents, and your brother. So one of you is going to have to sit separate. And I remember I could tell you if I walked into that movie theater back in the day, I could tell you exactly the seat. It's like third row on the left on the aisle. And I watched Kevin McAllister and Home Alone. And I laughed so hard all the way through. I remember the waves of heads going forward from laughter so hard. I had never seen anything like that. I actually I saw Home Alone 2 in New York. And that was a big deal for a little kid. Like, I was like, we are here. We saw that. And then, of course, I'm looking for Duncan's toy chest, and that was heartbreaking to know that Duncan's toy chest was not a real toy story or a toy store.
I'm learning this today. Duncan's toy chest
No.
isn't real?
Of course it's not
It's
real.
FAO Schwartz. That was actually FAO Schwartz was the place where Tom Hanks did the piano in Bic. And that was the toy store. I think it went out of business, and then I think maybe it came back or something.
Most Toy Stories have had
Yeah,
that
yeah.
same story.
But seeing Home Alone 2 in New York, that was one of those, I can't believe we're doing this. But the original Home Alone, Daniel Stern, Joe Pesci, what a cast. And of course, look what you did, you little jerk.
Give me your microphone.
There you-
Okay. And then I want you to stand up and I want you to walk over here to this cabinet and grab that right there, sitting next to the Wolverine. You'll know what it is. Oh my gosh.
Oh, here
We
we
didn't
go.
plan this. Go sit down. Go sit back down. Okay. Yeah. This is one of my favorite items I've ever gotten in the history of Christmas. It is the Talk Boy. And if you've seen Home Alone 2,
1992 bestseller.
that is the whole reason that Kevin McAllister ends up in New York in the first place. Because,
Credit card, you got it.
yes. Can you
I'd
do
like
the
a hotel room, please, with an extra large bed, a couch, and what is
it's
it?
the fridge.
One of those little
One of those little
fridges
fridges you have to open with a key.
Kevin McAllister in Home Alone 2
Yeah.
taught me what true luxury was.
Oh, absolutely.
Cheese pizza in the back of a limo while Tim Curry, grins like the
Fantastic.
Grinch.
And I love that the only thing that he could give a homeless lady in the park is 2 extra birds. Birds, dude. That's cool. It's like, dude, I'm homeless. I don't carry around this crap.
He leaves
turtle doves.
he leaves his warm, cozy hotel room that's like, once again, a huge hotel room.
Oh,
That's the whole family. Macaulay Culkin's been speaking on Home Alone. He does every year,
Love him.
it seems like, and he's come out with these thoughts. He says Joe Pesci bit his finger during Home Alone rehearsals.
we know that you're in there and that you're all alone. Yeah, kid, open up. It's Santa Claus and his elf.
Can't tell you how good this is going.
Such a good impression.
Such a good impression. A very odd impression you can't use very often, and people know what it is. But he says he has a scar from Joe Pesci
Sure.
biting his finger during Home Alone, and he says he still calls Catherine O'Hara mom whenever they see each other. And
yeah.
she opens up her arms, she goes, son. And so that's just a really nice.
And John Candy,
Oh, yeah.
Gus Polinski, polka, polka, polka. No, that whole cameo. And if I remember correctly, that was Macaulay Culkin returning the favor for Uncle Buck, and that's why he was in that. Just good stuff. I mean, what a great movie all around.
Absolutely. Okay, Home Alone, and I'm gonna say honorable mention there with the number 4 spot's also Home Alone 2. It's kind of
Absolutely,
they blend
absolutely.
together. Okay, let's go to number 3 on your best Christmas movie list.
In a previous list, we did wrestling themes, and even though it was anticlimactic, we said Hulk Hogan was, or our greatest wrestlers. We said Hulk Hogan was number one. It was like, Christmas Vacation. If we can't lie to ourselves, that's a top 5 all time, and it's not just because of the casting, which to this day is still my preferred choice of all the different vacation movies.
I agree.
That's the one right there, and I think all of them went on to have the best amount of success, especially with Big Bang Theory and all that good stuff. But it is. First of all, who invites both sets of parents to your house 10 days before Christmas and has them stay through? That's crazy in and of itself. As somebody who has gotten stuck on a roof before, putting things up on a roof, I can understand Chevy Chase's plight there and why the roof situation is so dangerous. I am Mr. Christmas. I feel as though I am Chevy Chase. I sing the carols in the car, all those good things. I don't go shopping for the lingerie like he does, but I just feel and identify with Chevy Chase and that character so much. And then, of course, just all the nonsense that happens with Cousin Eddie and the kids and the pool and the jelly of the month. Classic.
Am I correct that it is by far the most popular vacation film?
Yes.
Yeah.
The first one was good. And if you think about it, like so many movies have to have a villain or so. The first one never had a villain. It was just an adventure. The second one may have had the Brian Doyle Murphy or Murray, give me somebody on the phone. Give me somebody out while I wait. That character, that evil boss, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Kiss, all that good stuff. That's fun stuff because you do kind of have that evil boss, that corporate kind of feel. But it is just the everyday guy wanting to make Christmas special.
Yeah.
And that speaks a lot to who I am as a person.
I still personally love Vegas Vacation most, and nobody else does, and that's fine.
It's a good one.
But you throw Wayne Newton in this mix, and I'm all about it. Okay. You need Wayne Newton in the Christmas one.
Wayne Newton.
Yeah.
Be your bodyguard.
Let's go to number 2 on
right.
your list because you already have so many heavy hitters.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're going to wrap up this
We're
list.
getting off the trail for these next 2.
Okay.
And I say that because they're not your average everyday TNT. We're going to run it all the way through. By the way, A Christmas Story is not on this list. It's a
That's
great
fine with
movie,
me.
but it's not on this list. Okay. So number 2, I was born in 1983. And in that year, a very special 29 minute classic came out.
Okay.
And it was called A Mickey's Christmas Carol. Now, the Muppets have since done A Christmas Carol. Bill Murray has done A Christmas Carol. Jim Carrey has done A Christmas Carol. There's all kinds of versions of Christmas carols. But for whatever reason, just growing up my whole life, literally, with A Mickey's Christmas Carol, and even though it's just a small version, Jiminy Cricket as the Ghost of Christmas Past, and then Big Pete as the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come, Scrooge McDuck, that just, to me, I can sit there and watch, even because of the short time of it. Love Mickey's Christmas Carol. I mean, I'm a Disney fan, yes, but it's so good in such a condensed short amount of time.
Well,
It's a good one.
very personal to you, which is why we do Meltdown Countdown, because I love the personal antidotes
Sure.
and the personal stories. You did evoke one that would be on my top 5, which is Muppets Christmas Carol.
Oh yeah.
It's the second best, only because Mickey's was just there when I was born. The Muppets is still good, and I know Michael Caine, boy, his version he is Scrooge. By the way, all the different Scrooges, Michael Caine is the one. And I think that's perfectly cast with the Muppet interaction. But just taking the Disney characters and being around a little bit longer, that's why it takes number 2. No disrespect to my Muppets.
Was it a difficult task coming up with number 1, or did you know right off the...
Knew it because it was the exact first thing that my youngest, Sam, November the 3rd, said, do you want to watch? And immediately I was like, yes, I do.
Hot Frosty on Netflix.
That's right. That's right. Part 2.
What?
It's a movie that actually exists, Tyler.
Wait.
Yeah.
Hot Frosty?
Hot Frosty, yeah.
Well, what is the plot of Hot Frosty? It sounds like an Urban Dictionary.
It's
Think
exactly
about
what you expect. You look at the poster, you'll know exactly what that movie is. Okay, I don't want to ruin your number one though.
No, but it's the one Sam said, "Dad, do you want to?" And I said, "Yes." And in fact, it has probably my all-time favorite Christmas song, which is a medley. My number one is Muppet Family Christmas.
Oh,
Now,
Hmm.
there is a huge caveat to this. You can't just go on Disney Plus and watch a Muppet Family Christmas. And even if you had the DVD, you can't because a couple of reasons. Number one, they've taken out a couple of the songs for copyright issues. Number two, you can watch on YouTube, and I highly recommend this. Just type in Muppet Family Christmas 1987 with commercials. And you can go back, and I think it ran on like CBS or something like that, but it has the opening numbers and then it has the commercial breaks where they'll say, Muppet Family Christmas brought to you by Campbell's Soup, Oshkosh Bagosh. And they have these old commercials that we grew up with, like Oshkosh Kids. It has the original M&Ms where it was just green and red candy, and she was giving them the Santa. It has the Campbell's Soup commercial where the snowman drinks the soup and melts.
Oh, that was a good commercial.
That's why you've got to watch that particular one because it is nostalgia like you wouldn't believe. And that's not even talking about the story. Muppets, Sesame Street, and Fraggle Rock all together in one place, all with Jim Henson's creation right there. Songs, plots, interactions of the different characters. Can't beat it. And it's got some great songs sung by the Muppets, including that like 10-minute melody of your favorites.
I love your answer. I love the personal passion. I love your Muppets fandom. It's why we started off the show with me asking about
Yes.
it. You would think that I had been tipped off to what your number one was.
Maybe.
And I was not. I was not tipped off. But I am very happy with that choice because I will actually find myself watching 2 hours on YouTube of vintage commercials.
Especially this time of year, the Christmas ones.
Mhm.
In fact, the Hershey Kiss, the Bell one, that's been going
Yeah.
on forever, timeless. And in fact, Sam and I saw it last night. And I said, Sam, that commercial is almost as old as I am. And it's still a popular one. That the Corona where it lights up the palm tree.
My favorite one.
These commercials have hung in there and they're never getting old because you just see them at Christmas time and then you're like, okay, I've seen that commercial. It's the holiday season.
And to think back in the day, we used to dread commercials coming on.
Yeah.
And now we're sitting there enjoying
Loving them.
the take that they have for bringing us back to a simpler time. Not to wrap this whole thing up in a bow, pun intended,
Oh, wow.
but Superman needs to do the same thing. It needs to bring us back to a simpler time.
Mhm.
And the countdown to this, where are we at with the countdown right now, Tyler? Do we have like,
Oh, a live showing.
we are
We
a
are
live
at
peak.
41 hours, 2 minutes, and about 30 seconds
Oh my
until
gosh.
that first
Wow.
teaser trailer of Superman drops.
I cannot wait. I really hope I don't hate it because I'm so
Me
excited.
too.
I'm so excited and I hope I don't hate it. And tomorrow I'm going to lay out the 5 things I needed to have in order to really meet my personal hopes and expectations. Everybody's going to have
Crypto.
different ones.
Crypto,
Yeah.
crypto, Martian Manhunter.
Yeah. Maybe you'll get a couple of those. We'll see. My list is going to be a little bit different. E.g., you have legitimately been, you're halfway through the bag now, I believe, on the
I know I am. I've
Cold
been
Bear Sour.
nervously eating. Can I give an Alabama update real quick?
Please,
Oh,
yeah.
breaking
So
news?
yeah, breaking. That's why I've been kind of silent during your list. I apologize.
No, that's fine.
Jalen Mbakwe has decided to return to Alabama after entering his name in the transfer portal. There were a ton of rumors about Ole Miss's involvement. I'm hearing
I'd do the same for
that
a
Ole
million
Miss
more.
rescinded their offer, and
Wow.
he is going to be back at Bama, potentially playing offense. But it all broke, and there's been like Instagram stories flying.
Do
from
you
him
need
and
to go to
Ryan
Tuscaloosa real
Williams.
quick?
I mean, that's what it feels like.
Uh-oh.
Did
No.
you just say there's been stories flying?
Instagram stories flying.
I mean, that,
Bum, 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 bum,
there,
bum.
well, that'll get us there.
So,
Yeah.
so he
Yeah.
decided to Jalen and Bach stay.
He's
Yes!
yeah.
Yes!
Yeah.
3!
Wow. Since I apologize, I've been nervously eating my gummies, but
You're okay.
it is official.
You're cramming them down over there.
know.
Like they're going away or something. They're not. But
They're not.
Brian
And Bachman
Yes.
isn't either.
and Bakwe's not either. That's a great. Just puns all around. Puns for everybody.
Way, everybody.
Very important.
Look, This has been so much fun.
We've had fun. We always
We've had so many people invested in the show today. We appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button for us. That really does help. Hit that subscribe button. Never miss a conversation here on our live edition of The Meltdown. We appreciate your support of the show, and we are looking so forward to that teaser trailer for Superman on Thursday. We'll have our honest first reaction. A lot of YouTubers, they say they're doing first reactions to things, and I'm skeptical. We're doing a first reaction. We're going to watch it basically live with you. We'll have it out there, but we're going to be watching it as it drops. We'll have our full reaction posted Thursday morning. Don't miss that. Make sure you're subscribed so you do not miss that when it drops. Also, make sure you check out our title sponsor. That is MyBookie. MyBookie.ag is where you're going to want to use promo code next round. They've got the casino there for you. They got all the sports betting. You can get into the action there with MyBookie, where you can play anything, anywhere, anytime there with our friends at MyBookie.ag. Brian Pavlick, thank you so much.
May I, and I know you just did the ending, and I should have done this before, but first, just personally looking in the camera to the chat, to everybody this year with the Meltdown, just incredible year, guys. You guys brought so much entertainment and so many hours of just fun and excitement. You've included me, you've included my family, so I appreciate you guys. Y'all have been the biggest gift all year. It's you guys are the gift that keeps on giving in my house, so I do appreciate that. And I could not end today without my own personal happy birthday to the one and only Spud. Love you.
We love Spud.
I feel like we also need to say, and
Oh, and the second and
Dunaway.
other Jim Dunaway.
yeah, Jim Dunaway.
Jimothy.
Jim Dunaway and Spud sharing a birthday. Maybe
Same
not.
year?
I don't think it's
Oh, God.
it's not in year,
Could you imagine?
but it is in date. And I am so happy that now we are in boiling hot water.
We are.
Thanks to Brian. I'm just kidding.
That sounds like one of those questions Lance would ask at trivia. What came first, Spud or Jim?
Right.
That could be interesting.
That is
Maybe
fair.
that's tonight. It's
Well,
Wednesday,
that's
or
a-
tomorrow night.
That's a good question. Who did come first between Spud and Jim?
I would like to thank everybody for being here on the final edition of The Meltdown.
Two.
I'm glad that you enjoyed it while it lasted there. You have to watch the reruns from now on.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But that'll go great with your vintage commercials. That's going to do it for us here. We really appreciate, once again, all of you. And we'll be back tomorrow. I'll have my list of the 5 things I need to see from James Gunn's first teaser trailer for Superman. And we will have a full cast and crew ready for your entertainment purposes right here on The Meltdown, live every day, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern.